Hello and welcome to, is it running? Yes, it is. Hello and welcome to part 5 of Watch Sailor Stars, Learn Japanese, where we go through episode 1 of Sailor Stars, one word at a time, and I show you the translation process and also teach you Japanese. Quick note before we continue, I do have a special Patreon group for fans of Sailor Moon who want to learn Japanese by Sailor Moon songs. So if you like the treatment that I do in this video for the script, the dialogue of an episode of Sailor Moon, and you want the same done with Sailor Moon songs, join my Patreon at as little as $2 a month and you can get that. So when we last left our villains, Nanya smashed her mirror and the shards went all over Tokyo, and Mamo-chan got one in his eye, and it's looking ominous. Now Haruka and Michiru are on a date at an aquarium.
好きだな、君も。
見てると落ち着くんですもの。何時間でもいられるわ。
So Haruka says, 好きだな, kimi mo. This is an example of a Japanese sentence where they've kind of flip-flopped two parts of the sentence. It would ordinarily be kimi mo 好きだな, but by making 好きだな, kimi mo, they're emphasizing the ski part, which is, you really like this, don't you? Or you love this, don't you? So this is very vague. Ski is an adjective, actually. It's not a verb to like or to love. It's an adjective saying like, this vague thing you are fond of. It is something you are fond of. Kimi mo, so kimi is a softer version of you. Haruka uses sort of a soft male speech pattern, so that's what she uses. Michiru says, Miteru to ochi-tsukun'desu mono. Okay, so if you want to sound like a rich chick, Michiru's your gal. She's pretty snobby. Obviously well-bred. So miteru to. So I covered this grammar rule actually quite recently in my Nihongo 2 series. Miteru is looking at. To. So when you add that particle to after it, means whenever I am looking at it, we don't know what it is, and it's actually important that it's vague. Ochitsuku means to calm down, to be relaxed, and then you add that des ending, which I covered several videos ago. It's sort of the explaining way of saying something. So rather than making a statement, oh, watching this calms me down, relaxes me, it's, well, I'm explaining to you, I like this because watching it relaxes me. And then the mono at the end, you might have heard a lot of female animal, I almost said female animal characters. You may have heard lots of female anime characters ending their sentences in damon. It's sort of this humph, haha kind of way to end your sentence. So there. But then mono instead of mon, mono is just a little more ojo-sama-poi, which Michiru is. She's a elegant, refined, rich daughter. So, ochi-tsukun'desu mono. Well, it's very relaxing. She continues, Nan-jikan de mo irareru wa. So, nan-jikan is for how many hours. Nan-jikan de mo is for any number of hours. Irareru. So, irareru is the potential version of iru, which is to exist for people. So irareru is to be able to exist. So, and then wa is this, again, this very ladylike, it's kind of like yo at the end of a sentence, but it's more ladylike, which Michiru definitely is. So she's like, I could stay like this for hours, basically.
僕はハンドルを握ってる時の方が落ち着くけどね。
Haruka says, boku wa, so as for me, masculine soft me, boku, handoru o nigitteru toki. So the time when, toki, handoru o nigitteru. So nigitteru is gripping, and then handoru is more like the handles of her motorcycle or the wheel of a car. Toki, so as for me, the times when I am gripping the wheel, no houga, you may remember this from several videos ago, it's rather than this other thing, this thing, the times when I'm gripping the handles of my bike or my car, ga ochitsuku kedo ne. So ochitsuku, to relax. So as for me, I'm more relaxed when I'm gripping the wheel, kedo ne. It's like, I don't know about you, but, you know, so, well, I'm much more relaxed when I'm behind the wheel.
Baka ne, sakanaじゃないわ。
Michiru says, so finally, this is why it actually is important that those sentences that we just went over are kind of vague. Baka ne, sakana じゃないわ. So baka ne, it's like, oh, you silly. Sakana, fish, じゃないわ. It's like, I wasn't talking about the fish, silly. So going back, Haruka was saying, 好きだな, kimi mo, like you love it, don't you? And Michiru was saying, yes, 見てると落ち着くんですもの. Looking at it, what she really means is looking at you, Haruka, relaxes me. Haruka's talking about the fish. Oh, you like the fish, don't you? And Michiru's saying, yes, I like being with you, Haruka. Looking at you relaxes me. And then Haruka still doesn't understand. She's like, I'm more relaxed behind the wheel, personally. And Michiru's like, oh, you silly. I wasn't talking about the fish. Very smooth, Michiru.
で、話して。
すごい流れ星。
ああ、確かにすごいね。
So they go outside and Haruka says, で? Hanashite. So every time you have this like de with a question mark, it's like so and it's well. Hanashite. So the small tsu followed by a te. I've gone over this in another video in the past. It's basically referencing something. So hey, Hanashi, you wanted to talk to me about something. That's kind of what this hanashite. Michiru, it implies that Michiru said earlier, hey, Haruka, hanashi ga aru, like I would like to talk to you about something. And so Haruka's referencing, so that thing you wanted to talk about, what is it? So I translated that as, so you wanted to talk? And before she can talk, the shooting stars, Naharania's dream mirror, are falling through the sky. And Michiru says, Sugoi nagareboshi. So sugoi means like amazing. Nagareboshi is shooting stars. So this, anytime you say like sugoi something or another, it's kind of, linguistically it almost works the same as hella. It's like, whoa, hella shooting stars. Linguistically it works like that, but it's not exactly hella. If it were suge nagareboshi, it'd be more like, whoa, dude, hella shooting stars, look at that. But sugoi nagareboshi, and Michiru is a lady. But it's kind of like very or a lot. It's like there's a crazy amount of shooting stars. So I just translated that as look at all the shooting stars, because again, she's a lady. She wouldn't be like, whoa, dude, shooting stars up the wazoo. Haruka says ah, which does not mean ah, in this case. It means yeah or yes. Tashikani sugoi ne. So tashikani is like yes, indeed, certainly, as you said. Sugoi, amazing ne. So she's agreeing. In this case, sugoi is rather than amazing, it's more like a lot, very. So I translated that as, that is quite a lot.
さっき月の近くに何か邪悪なエナジーが現れるのを感じたんだけど。
Michiru says, さっき earlier, 月の近くに何か邪悪なエナジーが現れるのを感じたんだけど. Long sentence. 月の近くに, so 月, the moon, 近く, nearby, so near the moon. At near the moon, nanika, something, jakuna, we've gone over this word in many of the parts of this episode, so jakuna is evil, jakuna energy, so evil energy ga arawareru no o, so arawareru to appear, no o, so this no is sort of changing the jakuna energy ga arawareru to a big concept. So pretend this jakuna energy ga arawareru is a noun. It's a flower. So it's basically, that no is basically condensing it all into just one thought. Evil energy appearing, no o kanjitan dakedo. So kanjita is I sensed, I felt. Da. Again, it's the same as ndes. She's explaining. Kedo, it's like, well, I did. Earlier, I sensed some sort of evil energy materializing near the moon. I translated arawareru as materializing rather than appearing, because appearing, it can be kind of vague sometimes. In English, you don't know if you mean like to poof appear or it seems as though. Usually when we say appear, it means seems as though and not poof, appeared. So that's why I translated it as materializing instead of appearing, just so that it's clearer what she means.
敵か。
わからない。すぐに消えてしまったから。
Haruka says, 敵か? So, an enemy? Was it an enemy? Michiru says, わからない? I don't know. すぐに消えてしまったから. So she's explaining why she doesn't know, because there's that kara at the end, because すぐに, immediately, right away, 消えてしまった. So again, I love how like by now I've been doing so many grammar specific videos that I can always just be like, oh yeah, this video, this video, this video, this video. I recently did a video about te shimau verbs. So if a verb is te shimatta, it means that the verb happened and it either happened completely or it's unfortunate that it happened. And in this case, it's unfortunate that it happened. Kiete shimatta, it unfortunately disappeared. So, すぐに消えてしまったから, it disappeared too quickly. I don't know, it disappeared too quickly.
なら、地球の引力に捕まって砕け散ったのか。
ずいぶん楽観的なのね。
Haruka suggests, nara, in that case, I have a video on that too. 地球の引力に捕まって砕け散ったのかも. Lots of big fancy words here. So 地球 is the globe, the world basically. 引力 is gravity. If you look at the kanji for that, it's both elementary level kanji. In is to pull, and then ryoku is strength, chikara. So pulling strength, that's gravity. And that's basically what gravity is. It's like pulling you down. It's this force that pulls you. So 地球の引力, Earth's gravity. Ni, 捕まって is to catch on, to be captured. 砕け散った to shatter, to destroy in past tense. So shattered, destroyed. No kamo shirenai is like the full version of that, which you may know as maybe. But Haruka speaks much more plainly. She's not very formal. So chitta no kamo. Oh, maybe it got shattered by the Earth's gravitational pull. And then Michiru says, 随分楽観的なのね. So I don't know how well Michiru's character comes across in the dubs or in the subs, but she's kind of sly and very flirty and like kind of passive aggressive, but in a smooth way. Yeah. So 随分 like terribly, awfully. 楽観的なのね. So 楽観的 is more like happy-go-lucky, optimistic. And so I translated that as, well, somebody's an optimist, because I wanted to keep that sort of like snarky, teasing sort of, she teases Haruka a lot.
ミチルの鏡で捉えられないようなものなら大したやつじゃない。
それってずるくない？
And then Haruka says, ミチルの鏡で捉えられないようなものなら. So ミチルの鏡, Michiru's mirror. And this is something that's very common in Japanese. Instead of using pronouns like my or your, you'll use your own name or somebody else's name. So it's not Michiru's mirror, it's your mirror in good English. で、捉えられないようなものなら. So 捉えられる is something like to be able to pick up something. So 捉えられない is unable to pick up something. ようなもの, a thing like, that's like you can't pick it up. Nara, so again this nara if, as long as, if it's something your mirror can't pick up, we finish the thought in the next part, 大したやつじゃない. So 大したやつ is like a big shot, or someone who's all that, or someone who's the shit. じゃない though, so it's not someone who's the shit, or a big deal, or hot stuff. It's not necessarily profane. It's slangy though, for sure. So if it's something your mirror can't pick up, then it can't be that big a deal. Yatsu isn't always like a person, by the way. Sometimes it's a thing. In this case, the yatsu is like the evil energy that Michiru's mirror was sensing. And then Michiru says, それってずるくない? So, yeah, and they're kind of teasing each other and going back and forth. ずるい it's a very interesting word. It often means like you're cheating or you're being unfair or you're being uncharitable to someone else. So それ, as in like that thing, Haruka, that you just said, それって, hey, as that thing that you just said, ずるくない? Like, hey, isn't that thing you just said a little uncharitable? Aren't you being unfair? And I translated that as, are you making fun of me? Because that's kind of the heart of what she's saying. And Haruka was making fun of her, kinda.
そんなことないさ。信じてるんだよ。君のこと。
And then she says, そんなことないさ. I'm like, but of course not. Not at all. Even though she kind of was. 信じてるんだよ. Now she's being sincere. 信じてるんだよ、君のこと. So she was like joking, teasing, and then Haruka spins it around and says something really romantic. 信じてるんだよ、君のこと. So I just have faith in my Michiru. So I translated kimi as Michiru in that case because it's a little more intimate, and kimi is a softer, sweeter way of saying you, and it's a very sweet moment, and they're going back from being all bantery and teasing each other, and then Haruka just busts out this very sincere, sweet line, shinjiteru da yo. Again, the da yo is very like, I am very sure of myself and I'm explaining. I believe you. I believe in you. I have faith in you. Kimi no koto. And again, this is another one of those flip-flopped sentences. It would ordinarily be kimi no koto wo, or ga or whatever, particles, who needs them, shinjiteru da yo, in like normal sentence order. But because she did shinjiteru da yo, kimi no koto, it sounds a bit differently, it hits a bit differently, and that's partly what contributes to the romantic sound of the whole thing. So I just have faith in my Michiru. And then Michiru says, mo, and cuddles with her. So this mo exclamation is like, oh please, or oh geez, or oh my goodness, or honestly in this case, because she's a rich chick.
kedo.
And then the shooting stars disappear, and Haruka says, kieta, like they're gone. And then some dude says, ita, which means ouch. And then lady says, itai, which again could be ouch, but I translated it as my eye because she's clutching her eye. And it's just more natural that way. And then when lady says, daijoubu, are you okay? Haruka says, nanda, what's going on?
Haruka!
Michiru says, Haruka! Haruka says, nanika sasatta, as she clutches her bloody hand. So nanika, something, sasatta, past tense of to stab. So something cut me. Michiru says, misete, let me see. And then, ooh, lesbian vampire moment. Michiru gets it out and says, garasu no hahen mitai. Garasu no hahen, a shard of glass. Mitai, it looks like, it seems to be a shard of glass. So I translated that as it's a shard of glass, because in Japanese they often, even if they know something is pretty much the case, they'll often add vaguisms like mitai at the end, like, oh, I think it's this, it looks like this, even though in English we would just say, it's this. I think it's a shard of glass, it looks like a shard of glass. It doesn't sound as like, it sounds vague, it's not as strong, and it's not as natural in English, so it's a shard of glass. And then it starts to do weird things, and Haruka says, hanareru Michiru. So hanareru literally means like distance yourself, like put distance. Get away, Michiru. Haruka says, Dareda, who are you? And they turn into these evil, naked mirror chicks of doom.
Kimi no kagami mo tamani wa kumoru koto ga aru rashi.
Joudan yitteru bai?
Gomen.
Haruka says, Kimi no kagami mo, so your mirror also, tamani wa, at times, sometimes, kumoru koto mo aru rashi. So kumoru koto mo aru. It is also the case that your mirror sometimes gets clouded over. Kumoru is like to get clouded over, or to like fog up. Aru rashi. So this rashi at the end again is sort of like, it appears to be the case that. So it appears to be the case that even your mirror sometimes gets clouded over. That's what it is literally in Japanese. But again, Haruka and Michiru have this really good teasing banter between them. That's their relationship. That's the scene. And this line needs to be funny. You'll see why later. This line needs to be funny though. So I translated that as, guess even that snazzy mirror of yours has a blind spot sometimes. It means exactly the same thing. I'm just getting in her like snarky, making fun of Michiru tone. Michiru's next line, Joudan yitteru bai? So, is this the time or the place for jokes? That's why that last line had to be like playful and jokey, because Michiru chides her in the next line for joking around. It's like, hey, we're about to get killed. Should you really be joking about this? So Joudan, jokes, itteru, saying, bai. Bai is like the time or the place, the circumstances. So literally, is this the circumstances for telling jokes? So is this the time or the place for jokes? Haruka says, gomen, sorry.
感じる白い月のmono-domoの波動誰だ
And then Neherenia's evil voice says, 感じる白い月のmono-domoの波動. So kanjiru, again, to feel, to sense. 白い月のmono-domo, we've gone over this in past sections of this series. 白い月, white moon, no mono-domo. So mono in this case is not thing, it is person. Mono-domo, the domo makes it plural, so the ones, the people of the white moon. No hado o. So hado is like vibrations, undulations. So literally, again, this is another one of those flipped sentences. This section is doing flipped sentences a lot. So ordinarily, it would be shiroi tsuki no mono-domo no hado o kanjiru. You put the kanjiru at the end since it's a verb. But what they've done here is they've kind of split it into two sentences. I feel it. What do you feel? The vibrations of the people of the white moon. So I kept that rhythm in place when I translated it as, I can feel it, the vibrations of the white moon's allies. So I did allies instead of like the ones of the white moon or the people of the white moon. Just doesn't sound cool. I don't know, the white moon's allies doesn't necessarily sound super cool either. I might have changed that in post, we'll see. Haruka says, "Dareda? Who's there?"
白い月の王国に関わる者たちはすべて殺す覚悟するがよい
Neherenia's voice again says, 白い月の王国に関わる者たちはすべて殺す. So, 白い月の王国, so the 王国 is the kingdom, so the kingdom of the white moon, に関わる者たち. So, 関わる is to like, to associate with, to involve yourself with. So, monotachi, the ones. So the ones who involve themselves with the kingdom of the white moon. You basically just work backwards in the sentence. Wa, so as for those, the ones who associate with the kingdom of the white moon, subete, everyone, all of them, korosu, kill. So all allies of the white moon kingdom shall die. I did the shall just because it sounds more cool and like ancient, and that's how Neherenia speaks. Kakugo suru ga yoi. So anytime you have like a verb ga-i or verb ga-yoi, it means it's best that you do this verb, and it's more like, it's often kind of, not snarky, I guess snarky, mocking, sort of. Kakugo suru, this is actually a translation pet peeve of mine. A lot of people translate it as prepare yourself. That doesn't always work, but in this case I actually did prepare yourselves. Ordinarily, if it's just kakugo suru ga yoi, and it's implied that she means prepare to die, I would have translated that as prepare to die, but she just mentioned in that previous line, like, you shall die, so it would be redundant to say prepare to die, or you shall die, or brace yourself for death, or whatever. So I just did prepare yourselves. It sounds a little more ominous, which is what this is. It's this disembodied voice. Who the hell is this? Actually, yeah, Uranus and Neptune hadn't really met Neherenia yet, I don't think.
ものすごいマイナスのエナジーを感じるわ。
さあ行け我が分身ミラーパレドリンよ
So Michiru says, ものすごいマイナスのエナジーを感じるわ. Minus no energy, so minus energy or negative energy in better English. Monosugoi, again the sugoi, it means like a tremendous amount of, a lot, very much. Monosugoi is like, whoa, like really super hella, like a real super big amount, a tremendous, extreme. Wo kanjiru wa, so again kanjiru sense, wa, feminine ending, so I'm sensing some extreme negative energy here. Neherenia says, Sa yuke, waga bunshin, mira peradori yo. So, sa yuke, that's so like old villainy sort of way of talking. So, go forth. Waga bunshin. So, waga, again, Neherenia uses this wa pronoun to describe herself. Waga, my. Bunshin. So, bunshin, it literally means like part or fraction of body. And that's kind of what it is. It's an alter ego, it's a clone, it's just a part of you that is sort of like copied and put somewhere else. And these mirror paradories, they were literally created from her mirror, which is kind of like her essence that she shattered. So they are all like little pieces of her, and they came from her. So I translated it as my children. Even though they're not literally her children, they kind of are, and it sounds cooler that way. Go forth, my children. My mirror paradories, whatever the hell paradories are. I looked it up and the internet didn't know either. It's just what they're called, the little hee naked mirror chicks who look sort of like nigitteru. And Haruka and Michiru are in trouble, they can't transform, and they're gonna die. And then just when everything looks bleak, a voice says, Dead Scream. Dead Scream. I wonder who that was. We'll have to find out in the next installment of Watch Sailor Stars Learn Japanese. So anyway, I hope you learned some fun Japanese and got a little more insights into Haruka's and Michiru's characters through this scene. And I hope you'll join me next month when we go over the continuation, when the mystery Senshi, Sailor Pluto, comes in to rescue them and kicks ass, and it's awesome. Thank you to all the patrons who support this and the other series on the channel. Again, if you want to join my Patreon group, you can get extra Sailor Moon translations in your inbox every single month. And I hope to see you again in the next installment. 月の光は愛のメッセージ.